go ahead and see what we get here as we hop into picks and bans for game number 1. It's Vi, Aurora, and Yone. Banned out by Shopify. Double mid lane bans here alongside a jungler. On the other side, it's Varus and Pantheon. I feel like this is just kind of the name of the game for red side bans these days, like Pantheon, perma-banned on red side. Varus also a very popular ban, although sometimes he does still get through.
Interesting, though, it is going to be a Azir, and so Talia is up and available if they want to go towards it. But yeah, Pantheon and Varus feel like they are just absolute perm bans. Sometimes the third ban is flexed around a little bit, but there is a lot of consistency there, and it is going to be a first pick Annie coming through here for Palafox. So feels like his job is going to be more, acting as the neutralizer. I am kind of assuming here you take point and click CC, you just kind of try to lock it down some of these playmakers on 100 Thieves and make their jobs pretty difficult.
All right, 100 Thieves, what's it going to be here? Okay, Yunara. Locked in, first and foremost, they are going for the AD carry. That's what they want for FBI.
It'll be interesting to see what the pairing is with Yunara, because a lot of people have been liking enchanters in solo queue alongside it, but also things like Braum and Taric are very effective, with the Yunara also. So there's a lot of different options and pairings, and I feel like people are still kind of figuring that out as Yunara hasn't been around for that long. But they're going to be pairing it alongside the Wukong. So both, I think, just a strong engaged physical damage jungler, but also I think a pretty good takeaway when you're already seeing Annie over on the other side. Generally, the comp is going to send it, right? Like, Annie kind of only does that one thing. So, you flash, you tibbers, that's about that.
All right, that's the game plan. That's how we're going to play some League of Legends. But the Zhao and the Gwen locked in alongside it. So we've got the classic AD jungler paired with double AP solo lanes for the side of Shopify.
And now we're going to find out, is Dhokla going to grab a counter pick for top lane right here? Or, will we see a mid lane counter pick for Quid? I do think with Dhokla just making his return to the stage, you want to prioritize him in draft and make sure that he's feeling comfortable, right? He hasn't been playing in Tier 1 for quite a while, it feels like now. And so they are going to give him that counter pick. Quid will have to drop his pick till later in the draft. And so it is, ADC picked in the first round for 100 Thieves versus the mid lane pick for Shopify. So you can kind of expect to see the opposite targeted, in bans. Very likely 100 Thieves could throw some AD carry bans if they're concerned about that at all. And you would expect to see Shopify throwing out some bans towards Quid to deny any of the picks they think could be pretty annoying. Instead, it's going to be Poppy, though, which I actually think is pretty interesting. They are worried about Zeus playing Poppy support. It would be very effective into the 3 champions that they have already drafted. But of course, Poppy support isn't that popular, so this does feel like it's a bit of a nod to what they've been seeing from him in scrims.
Exactly, right? Like the Steadfast Presence, super powerful against Wukong and Jax. Obviously, you're only going to get value against Yunara once she's in her ultimate form with the dash on that one. But again, every team fight, she should be in her ultimate form. On the other side, though, the Galio banned away by Shopify. Rebellion, again, what you were talking about is those opposite types of bans compared to the roles that were drafted in the first stage. And Lucian will be the ban here for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, so double bot lane bans kind of as expected. Galio, I think, makes a lot of sense when it's double AP soul laners, and also when you have Jax versus Gwen, 2 champions that really like to side lane. And Galio is a champion that can obviously affect those side lanes, swing it in the favor of the Jax. And that last ban is going to be Alistar, interesting enough. So taking away some of the potential engaged supports, but again, there's just so many that I never really feel like these first game fearless support bans do that much. Because it's like, okay, you can still go Rakan, Leona, Nautilus, Rell. There's a ton that all are fairly interchangeable. It is going to be the Rakan, so obviously some of the trade-offs is just kind of like where the strengths lie. Rakan has a weaker earlier laning phase, but does have more powerful kind of like explosive engage. So that does feel like the trade-off that they have made. But now Shopify have the opportunity to pick their entire bot lane, seeing both the AD and support. So if they want to play for the bot lane 2v2 and pick an advantageous 2v2, they have that opportunity.
And I really want to see how much value 100 Thieves ends up getting from the last pick mid laner when their opponents picked mid as the very first choice of the entire draft. There has to be some value here beyond just, I'm picking this into Annie. Otherwise, I'm not buying why you saved it for last.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, unless they think that Rakan is so high prio and was going to get taken away, you are kind of giving up the bot lane 2v2 because you're giving double counter pick over on the red side. So it is going to be Corki Rell. Definitely a powerful 2v2 here, which I think will be pretty difficult for FBI and Eyla. They're going to have to play this pretty defensively. they're just going to be looking to farm, not really fight unless River is down there. And since River's playing kind of like a farm to 6 style jungler, I think they really are just looking not to fight whatsoever. And my guess is it's just going to be something that outranges Annie. You know, people like to go like Ori and Victor, and it is going to be Ori. Does pair well with the composition. So I feel like it's less about I'm going to slam this guy 1v1 and more about I'm going to round out this composition. You have Ori pairing with Rakan and Wukong. So lots of ways to actually enter and get that shockwave off very, very easily. And it still is one of these champions that just outranges the Annie and can be very difficult for Annie to lane into. As I said, we had been seeing a lot of Victor, but Ori's pretty popular too. You just kind of try to harass the Annie every time Annie is going for these CS. Yeah. People do have some kind of tech around that where a lot of the Annie players would start E level 1 and just walk E with E and start autoing you to kind of force you to hit into it. So you're kind of taking that return damage from the E. And so there are some little tricks and so on. It's not like if you're just going to get completely blown out by an Ori, but you do expect the Orianna to have a CS advantage, to kind of have that push advantage as well, and to pair really well with the team. So both teams, honestly, pretty strong drafts. I do tend to favor, I think, what 100 Thieves have, as long as we don't see Shopify getting ahead early, but they definitely have the advantage in the 2v2 on bot side, and they have the advantage in the jungle early as well with the Zhao.
So 100 Thieves have been off to a rough start here so far in split number 3. Where specifically do you want to see them focus early on in this game if they're going to correct that ship and start turning things around?
I mean, I really want to see Quid and River get going, because I feel like they kind of had been the shining stars of this team for a long time. And I feel like that duo has lost a little bit of its luster this split. We haven't been seeing those explosive performances that we had been expecting. Even just last split, people were talking about Quid as a potential, MVP candidate, as someone who, if he can have those really good games, could get up towards the top of those votes. River fighting heavily, but this is a bit of a spicy level 1 because Bvoy and Fudge are both there.
Yeah, River does not want to go any further forward. Quid throws the ball over the wall to find a little bit of vision there in the brush. But okay, no more. Junglers just trading a couple of auto attacks back and forth. But before the game, all of 100 Thieves were chatting about Dhokla's photo.
When did they take that picture of me? In a 100 Thieves jersey.
It's you in Vic's body, I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
I think so, yeah. Dude, look at that.
Let me see.
Nah. What is that, ref? How can they do that? Look at me. Dude, I look so small. Holy shit. That's a cursed Photoshop.
Handsome, Mitchum. You actually look more handsome.
No, man. What are you saying? No way.
Right, Mitchum, you look more handsome.
Hold on. We already got some violence here at level 1. Shopify Rebellion is on the board. 100 Thieves were too busy looking at Dhokla's Photoshop, and FBI gets got at level 1.
Still debating, if he looks more or less handsome. And now I think we can say he looked less handsome because FBI just got first blooded.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not a very handsome thing to do.
You can't be as handsome when you're dead, and FBI is exactly that. He even
CS,
lost
by the
the
way.
flash.
Yeah,
doing it.
He didn't get a single CS, so I thought that this 2v2 was going to be rough. I thought that they would have to play on the defensive side of it. I didn't think he would get first blooded, losing his flash without getting a single CS. He walks back. Usually the absolute depression buy is you come back with just, like a refillable. He didn't even get to buy a potion.
Yeah, it's 1928, brother. The Great Depression is here in bottom lane.
It's dust soup for FBI.
Yeah, we are not having a good time in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, mid lane, Contractz looking to make it even more painful here as Quid tries to flash away. But the third hit of the 3 Talon strike takes him up, and away. Shopify Rebellion 2-0.
That's tough. That is really tough. Man, Dhokla, when I went over there for the interview, though, all he wanted to talk about was the photo. He's like, have you seen this, Azael? Did you see what they did? Wait, watch this. It's going to come up. And he was just going on about it.
He's traumatized. Meanwhile, bottom lane just continues scrapping.
I didn't even notice.
Well, apparently you're the only one because everybody on 100 Thieves clearly taking issue with it. But they need to take issue with what's going on the Rift here so far as Shopify is off to the races with the kills in mid lane, with the kills in bottom lane. They're feeling good.
They are, but Big Dokes, 7 CS lead, make it 8.
Okay, all right.
Not
Well,
too
I
bad.
mean, the wave is pushing towards his opponent.
We're just
so
going to
it's-
ignore that. He's got a CS lead,
All right,
Fars.
yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
number is larger than the enemy number. Uh-oh. FBI in a little bit of danger here. Has to try to get away. Eyla with some quick moves to keep his AD carry healthy, but Bvoy and Seos again just establishing dominance here in the 2v2.
Yep, definitely going to be crushing it in this 2v2 for a while. And this is not a cannon wave. I mean, they could try to base Dhokla and have him TP down to catch this wave if they want, but FBI is going to elect to actually stay around instead. So there's not a jungler here. I don't think they should be able to get dove, but of course they don't know where Contractz is. So you can see how defensively FBI is positioning, and they're just going to go for it.
Yeah, Seos and
kinda
Bvoy
bluffed them
moving
out.
so far forward. If nothing else, they force FBI all the way away from the wave. They don't actually have to dive here. All they have to do, just pressure enough, get the turret plate. One more auto attack would get it. They won't quite get there, but they still force FBI away from all of the EXP and gold.
Yeah, I think that was actually really, really smart. I think they just straight up bluffed them there, as Dhokla's having a pretty good trade up on this top side. So even after the wave, did crash, he was up a little bit as far as the CS was concerned. He did base earlier. TP's back with that better buy. Eyla trying his best to pick up some of this farm, but you've already lost a plate on that bot side. You're pretty far down with that first blood gold going over to Bvoy as well. So Bvoy is going to be way ahead of FBI, and that is going to be pretty problematic for Yunara, who is not exactly a utility champ. This champ is straight up damage and nothing else.
She contributes nothing if she cannot do damage. And seems like Palafox was pretty happy to be matched up against 100 Thieves this week.
Absolutely. He said they were the worst team in the league right now, which I've heard from a few players. And this was his reaction when he found out that they actually picked him. You can use your imagination, and then poggers.
Flambe poggers. He just absolutely, he thinks this is going to be a matchup where he can truly cook.
Up.
Yeah, exactly. It's this is dessert. Bon appetit here for Palafox.
And we'll see. I mean, good start for Shopify thus far. Definitely going to have to stabilize on that bot lane. That is the biggest concern. Yeah, Quid died, but at least it was double flashes spent. He got ganked. The 2v2 going that bad is problematic, and now 2v2 is rolling over.
Yeah, River flashing away there, still down to 300 HP. Palafox making his way over. 100 Thieves, they aren't going to lose anybody, but River now without that flash, the timing of that is super nice too for Shopify Rebellion, because River is halfway to level 6. Now you don't have the opportunity for a flash ulti once Wukong does come online. You already mentioned he's playing a farm to 6 champ. Your 6 needs to be impactful, and now you've got one less tool to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It is really, really tough. And that's always the difficulty when one of your lanes goes really bad for a jungler, is that lane is going to start moving around the map here. And Seos just moves in with Contractz, able to push River off of that and forces flash. So nicely done by them. Quid, Dhokla still kind of just farming it out, but FBI is definitely the problem right now. How are they going to keep him relevant? Because Corki is going to be a problem, and Dhokla's just going for it.
Yeah, Dhokla's going all in. Fudge in some danger here, trying to drop some needlework to get himself away. Third hit does connect, and okay, Fudge is all right, but man, Dhokla is running this 1v1 while Shopify starts up the Drake on the bottom half of the map. Eyla on the approach here, as 100 Thieves are trying to at least steal away the blue buff in the enemy jungle, with Fudge being forced back. Remember, there is no teleport here on the Gwen, so it's a long walk back to lane, but the Ocean Drake's secured by Contractz and Shopify.
Yeah, and we'll see if Dhokla can get anything else off the back of this. I think he is just going to have to take his base, but wants to get one Demolish Rock, so we will get a plate, but it did cost him his flash, right? So it's basically that flash for a couple CS denied for a plate here. Fudge did trade out his ult, but didn't have to flash on the other side, so he's going to be pretty comfortable.
Meanwhile, flash spent in the mid lane there by Palafox, trying to get away as River scraps with Contractz back and forth. Both junglers on the edge of death, but it's Contractz who falls, and River stays alive. Eyla reinforcing there to guarantee that Tibbers can't get one back. 100 Thieves win out in the mid lane.
Nicely done there. 100 Thieves getting something back. They forced out the flash with the initial engage with that shockwave, and then Contractz came over and tried to fight it out, but Palafox was pushed back, and it is going to be pretty difficult. First LCS import in the LTA. I was like, how does it feel to be back in the LTA? He's like, well, first of all, I'm debuting in the LTA. I was an LCS player.
True.
I'm like, okay, you're not wrong.
We sent JoJo to the LEC and we sent Dhokla to the LTA. The LCS is a chief exporter of talent these days.
We're sending talent everywhere, baby. Now here it is one more time. The face check going bad for Palafoxes. You get the bad news when both River and Quid are there. And then this is very aggressive here from Contractz. Flashing in But Palafox not really able to get much damage down whatsoever, and Contractz just barely can't finish him off. I don't think Tibbers would have killed River there either way, but Eyla does arrive with the Spellbook TP all the same, and you can see Sniper there in the background watching on. Looking pretty focused. It's always a bit of a weird position, I think, you know, when you are in a sub role, because you still want your teammates to do well, you still want your team to do well, but at the same time, if your replacement does too well, then you might not be getting back in. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird spot, I feel like, to be in. You know, you definitely want to support the boys, but at the same time, you want to be playing too.
Exactly. Looking across the scoreboard, though, still the greatest individual lead is down here in the bottom lane. Bvoy ahead by about 400 gold, but similar leads across two different roles for the side of 100 Thieves, as both their solo laners are about a kill's worth of gold ahead. It's still a very close game overall. You still have the Ocean Drake claimed by the side of Shopify here very early on, and we'll see how else they can build that lead. But right now it looks like 100 Thieves willing to contest for control over this bot side river, but not overcommit to it. Eyla jumps in for a grand entrance. Seo's not going to take a whole lot of damage here as Contractz is the initial target. Tries to get himself back away, but he's charmed up, locked up. Shopify trying to fight back, but River has already got the kill here on a Contractz. Palafox in a lot of danger. Nice shockwave. Fetal Warfare claimed by 100 Thieves as Shopify Rebellion fall apart in the river.
Yeah, Shopify kind of walked in there a bit haphazardly, and Bvoy's pretty split. Dhokla looking to get aggressive once again here. 100 Thieves just kind of collapsed on one side. They initially looked for Seos, but Bvoy was never really able to join up with Palafox and Contractz. They got kind of pushed out the side, and Quid held on to that shockwave for a long time. Didn't actually need it to kill off Contractz. Saves it to be able to grab that kill onto Palafox. Really well done by 100 Thieves.
Now Dhokla's ready to fight up here on the top side yet again, but Fudge with the last cast of the needlework goes snip, snip, cuts him down. Fudge gets the 1v1 kill, but now Quid ready to get one in return. Misses the command attack. Fudge with a flash away, but Quid follows it with a nice one more command attack to claim the kill.
Yeah, not too bad at the end of the day. Dhokla does get solo killed, but obviously he's going in to try to set up for Quid. Would have liked to survive, but goes in a little bit too early, perhaps. At the end of the day, though, it was Fudge's flash, and it is a 1-for-1, so it's not bad at all. There are 400 Thieves. They're going to be able to push this in. Contractz will collect the wave, but at least it's denied there from the solo laner. As we can watch this one more time. So great sidestep on the initial engage here from Seos, but then they just turn in onto Contractz, and watch Quid is just holding on to his shockwave for so long. Bvoy valks in onto FBI, but FBI is kind of just kiting out and doing a good job dodging a lot of those rockets coming in from the top side. And without Bvoy there, they just didn't really have enough damage. Contractz goes down early, and now this is that topside play. So you can see the teleport was coming in. That is why Dhokla goes in. But Needlework does a lot of damage, even with the ulti and a good sidestep there from Dhokla. It does not matter. He gets cut in half by the snip snip. And then this is Fudge, you know, trying to get some sidesteps here. But he knows when he's point blank, he's not going to be able to reactively flash to the command attack coming out. So that, I think, is why he flashes early there. But Quid able to hold on and react and gets the kill.
I mean, honestly, so far, I'm seeing a pretty significant jungle gap in this game, Isaac. You're talking about River playing a champion that wants to farm till 6. We are well past that point now. He's 2-0-1 on the Wukong, been a part out of almost every kill so far for the team. Contractz, conversely, he's on a champion who wants to be early and active and all over the map, and he's just not been able to find a whole lot of success so far. I think 100 Thieves has been doing a very good job at shutting him down.
Absolutely, and this is, you know, one of the kind of longest streaks without a win for 100 Thieves in their history. The longest they ever had was 5 losses before a win. That was back in 2019 summer. And at this point, they are 4 losses without a win here. This was actually the roster that they were playing with, where they had this like 7-man roster going on with Zaligo and Ryu splitting time, with Someday and Fake God splitting time. You know, Amazing was back on the team. That was with Bang and Afromu, so a total throwback. But to be fair, you have to look at the strength of schedule of the teams. So these are the combined records of the opponents there. So even though this is on the left, this is 100 Thieves, you can see their logo there. So the 2 teams that they played are combined 37-19 in Split 2, whereas the 2 teams that Shopify played were combined 7-29 in Split 2.
That's not very good.
So these are wildly different opponents that they did play against, and so that has to be taken into consideration. You can't just look at the records.
Okay, Fudge versus Dhokla yet again. The 1v1 down here on the bottom side. Dhokla trying to jump back away, avoids the final cast of Needlework. Both of these top laners down to a few hundred HP here now, and both of them continuing to fight. Flash follow there with a counter strike, and Dhokla barely misses out on the kill. Fudge stays alive and stands tall.
Yeah, Seos comes in there. I'm not even sure if Seos made a difference. He did come in with the full tilt, but at the end of the day, it probably wouldn't have made the difference. Just that last auto attack needed by Dhokla. He's honestly been laning pretty well in that 1v1. You know, look for that all in, but once Gwen gets Conqueror and Riftmaker going, the health kind of stops going down in some of these long trades. You can see how much sustain was in this. But this is after the re-engage, so he backs off, he waits for the counter-strike to come back up, and then he's going to go in for this kill. Flashes forward to follow, lands the counter-strike, gets the auto with the W, powered W, and then realizes, you know what, I actually can't get that last one down. And I don't think that Seos made a difference. He sped him up with the E, but didn't actually hit any spells on him. So Dhokla with a little bit of a miscalculation there. Disappointing for him, but up to this point, he had been up in gold lane, doing pretty well against Fudge, who I think has been a strong performer for Shopify, both last split and this split. Fudge has been pretty impressive, so not a bad debut thus far for Dhokla, but at this point, you make those mistakes and the matchup gets away from you. And it's going to be a lot harder now to be able to actually take those 1v1s against Fudge.
And that could be a backbreaker in this game, right? Like, we're talking about a game state that overall is very close. Now you have Fudge and Bvoy, who are the leads for Shopify Rebellion. 100 Thieves, their leads are River and Quid. So who's going to out-carry who is the question we have to ask, as Dhokla, again, looking to put a little bit of pressure here into the Tier 1 turret. Fudge jumping in, River and Eyla coming down, but Contractz is also nearby. He'll force 100 Thieves back for the moment. The clone takes most of the damage. Flash forward from Contractz there for the last hit of the 3 Talons strike, and now Ayla's got to flash away to try to escape. Pop the quickness, again disengaging. Seo's not going to find a lot here with a Magnet Storm, but now they finally lock up Dhokla, and he is chopped up. Bvoy takes the kill.
They are able to get Dhokla at the end of the day here, but a lot of members were sent. FBI is getting alone time mid lane. Quid was pushing in that top lane as well, because that was 4 members bought there from Shopify. They do kill off Dhokla at the end of the day, but still pretty big commitment for that 1 kill. We'll see how much more they can get, as Fudge is going to be able to take down that bot lane tower, so they do claim first turret, and that is going to be pretty nice for them. They are very close now to those upgraded boots.
Yep, Feet of Warfare for 100 Thieves, Feet of Turret for Shopify Rebellion, and the neutral objectives also in the favor of Shopify, as it's 1-to-1 on the Drakes. Quid tries to get away there, sidesteps, Wind becomes lightning, so Contractz cannot catch up to him, find any sort of a punish kill.
Very nearly had Palafox. Palafox stunned him just as he landed those shockwaves, but had him down to about 100 HP, almost was able to kill him. If Contractz didn't show up, I think that Quid would have been able to finish him off. But now it is 100 Thieves getting a bit of damage down on the Bvoy and starting up this Herald.
Okay, Tier 1 turret claimed in the top side at the same time. 100 Thieves have the Herald down to 4,000. Seo's looking to step forward. Contractz and Bvoy both nearby. Contractz does not have his ulti available. Herald slain by River. He'll be able to pick up the eye. Go ahead and disengage back over the wall. Shopify, they were nearby, but they didn't have the resources to try to really challenge.
Yeah, Palafox had no TP, so even though Quid was really low on mana and quite low on health, it didn't matter because they were down that extra mana, and Dhokla gonna have to be careful here.
Gets the stun. Fudge. Okay, he's fine. Just going back to the wave.
Yeah, Fudge not gonna actually let the needlework go there. I thought he might have gone for the ulti and tried to chase him down in that position, but elects not to, isn't sure exactly where everyone is on the map right now. There is a pretty good ward that they actually do have on the deep by the blue buff on 100 Thieves side. And that ward has been spotting people walking out here, which may have tipped Fudge off to not try to look for that all in. But now Quid moving down. This turret was already put very low from Dhokla last time he was pressuring, so now they're going to be able to knock down another tower. Quid took down that top lane tower, walks down towards bot to help Dhokla finish that off. And it still is over 1,000 gold lead now for 100 Thieves in this first game.
Okay, so we have the Grubs and 1 Dragon going the way of Shopify Rebellion. We have 1 Dragon and a Rift Herald going the way of 100 Thieves, and we've got the Feet of Turret and the Feet of Warfare already on different sides. That means this next Drake is going to determine who gets the bonus power of the boots of the feats overall, and it looks like it's 100 Thieves to start up the Drake with control of the bot side Rift.
Oh, Fudge is just going to TP out of there, so now they should just start this off. They're not even going to contest, they're just going to give it up for a tower. So not feeling like they're in a position to actually be able to fight here. But it does mean you're going to lose the mid lane tower, so you're going to lose your last outer because the Herald has been sewn up. You're going to lose the Dragon and the feats. Yes, you will get a Tier 1 tower top eventually, but doesn't feel like the best trade here for Shopify. So we'll see if they can actually pressure more. But I mean, Dhokla's already up there to cover the tier 2, so I don't think that they're going to get a second tower or anything like that.
Yeah.
And 100 Thieves, at the end of the day, I think they're going to be very happy with how this has gone.
I mean, it's one tower for one tower with a bonus of Drake for 100 Thieves. Yeah, you're happy about that any day of the week, especially when it earns you the feats. You've got the extra movement speed there in the boots, and 100 Thieves, still, it's not a huge lead so far in the game. 18.5 minutes in, about 900, maybe 1,000 if you have the right timing on the creeps there when you look up at the snapshot of the gold. It's not huge, but it is a good sign for a team that is still yet to claim a win.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And we'll see for Shopify's side if Fudge can kind of be a difference maker. You know, he has the biggest lead on the team right now. Bvoy, despite that amazing start for him, they weren't really able to keep FBI that down. You know, yes, he is still down a couple hundred gold, but it's like after getting first blooded with 0 CS and then getting zoned off the tower later, I would have expected it to be a larger advantage. You know, I would have expected to turn into more. So good job by 100 Thieves to be able to actually mitigate that loss and, you know, keep FBI relevant, because it definitely could have gotten away from them.
All right, Quid is going to take care of the wave down here in the bottom side. Shopify Rebellion does have 3 men around the area, but because Eyla is also hovering, it means there's no opportunity to find any sort of a play. Otacon is going to be spawning here in about 30 seconds, but I don't really think anybody's going to be rushing that one super fast here in this game. Dhokla putting in some quick work on the tier 2 turret up here. The top side flashes the energy banner, a favorite in the hearts of many a North American fan, as Dhokla does take out the tier 2, but now Bvoy has arrived. Dhokla trying to get away, drops a ward over the wall, leap strikes to it, flashes another energy, and hops away like he's playing against G2.
Man, that's some Giga Chat energy right there.
I love it.
Right in the face of his former teammate, takes the tier 2 down, gets 2 members responding to him, solo gold on the tier 2, walks out without even having to use a summoner, and now, just like that, he's tied it up in gold once again. And I gotta say, yeah, some of these little plays haven't gone the best for Dhokla, but overall, he's been pressuring non-stop. It feels like he's always on his opponent's side of the map. He is looking for aggressive angles. So even though he is 0-3-1, I feel like he's playing a decent game. It's kind of fun to watch him come in and be confident. I feel like a lot of players, after some time away, are very hesitant to actually make mistakes. And Dhokla's looking for plays, looking for solo kills, and trying to play aggressive.
Big Dokes is ready to go, and 100 Thieves is ready for the Otacon. Shopify Rebellion bringing some manpower down here, but they're going to have to make their move pretty soon.
Dhokla's
Teleport ready to arrive, but immediately Dhokla is ready to greet Palafox as Shopify tries to engage down here on the bottom side, but River has already cast the Cyclone. Contractz again, just melted before we can do anything meaningful here in the fight. River with a second cast of the Cyclone puts some pressure on a Bvoy as Fudge is about to die. 200 Thieves looking good in the fight. Quid goes on a killing spree. It's a 2-for-1 trade across the map so far for the Thieves. Seos tries to get away, a double kill back over to Quid. He stays alive for a moment, but Bvoy cleans one up. Bvoy trying to be the hero here for Shopify Rebellion, needs one more auto attack. Phosphorus Bomb gets a triple kill for the Corki as he finally dies. It's 4 dead bodies on both sides. A bloodbath around the Otacon.
Yeah, that was a crazy fight. And 100 Thieves going in a 3v2 with very low health bars. Seos landed a double shattering strike as he falls, which sets up Bvoy to get the triple. That was massive there, because it looked like it was going to be 100 Thieves fight. It looked like it was going to be there. Otacon, it looked like it was going to be there. Everything. Seos on the initial engage was good. Quid here is kiting back, and that TP had been intercepted by Dhokla, so he pushed out Palafox completely. It was at this point that I was thinking, okay, this is looking really, really rough. But then Fudge flashes forward with this nip tip, is able to actually take down FBI. And then watch Seos on this re-engage here. The double stun on both of them. The crashdown gets interrupted, but that double stun sets up Bvoy. Yeah. He finds his moment, falcks in, is able to eventually get that triple kill, flashes out the Phos Bomb to finish it off. Yes, he does fall, but what a fight there. And a great job by Seos to really even the scores, because you could see Golden Glue thought, okay, we just need to get this one kill. We finished Fudge. It's our fight. But just like that, turned around.
I mean, we were talking about how, yeah, Bvoy got this insane start. He had the level 1 kill. His opponent is stuck with 0 CS and dead, and then it doesn't actually mean a whole lot. That right there, that's the payoff you're looking for. That's where you want to see that Corki shine.
Round
and now
2.
Bvoy, super far ahead, 1,500 gold ahead of FBI on the Yunara. However, the greatest lead in the game is still Quid, 2,000 up compared to Palafox. and it's 100 Thieves starting up the Otacon. They've already got it down to 5,000
They're looking for
HP.
Fudge.
Teleport coming in. 100 Thieves immediately decide they do not care about the objective. They only want the fight. A lot of damage done to Fudge. He's already dead. As the fight continues, a second cast of the Cyclone is death for the second solo laner of Shopify Rebellion. 100 Thieves having a great fight so far. FBI wants to get away from Contractz, and he's the last man standing on the Rebellion, and 100 Thieves will put that Rebellion to rest. A triple kill to Quid, and 100 Thieves make him look silly.
Man, that turn onto the teleport here from Eyla, they spot the teleport coming in, and they're just going to stand on him, pop the ulti, so it's instantaneous that you are charmed up. There's no way to react to that whatsoever. He gets burst down in a hurry. Palafox, who had lost his flash on the last play running from Dhokla, also gets knocked down, and then it's really only Bvoy who can do anything, but even he cannot stop them. Quid is so fed now. They get the Otacon. He gets a triple kill after already being 2K ahead, and they're going to grab the dragon. It feels like 100 Thieves now are on the precipice of claiming their first win, and the Shopify coaches know it.
Yup, you could see the heartbreak in the reactions there. The game was so close for so long. We were looking at maybe a 1,000 gold lead for, what, 20-plus minutes of gameplay? And now, 100 Thieves have completely shattered that. 3,000 gold ahead. They're on sole point in terms of the Drakes. They are up almost 20 flowers, which is about 2,000 gold extra for the team in terms of effective stats.
Yep, exactly. And they have the upgraded boots, right? So even more, which makes it really, really tough. And yeah, they're up 2.6K right now. But Quid has a 3K gold lead in mid lane. This guy has his Mage Eyes purchased up. He is working in towards what I assume is going to be a death cap. Was already on 2 items plus the upgraded Merc Shreds. And with that Archangels, he's pretty tanky, plus those tier 2 Mercs. So very difficult to actually burst this guy down. And it feels like if you cannot do that, you are really going to struggle to take the fight. On Shopify's side, it feels like it's going to need a perfect engage and an amazing fight from Bvoy.
I'm thinking maybe Palafox shouldn't have said flambe poggers coming into this one. I'm thinking maybe there's a little bit of a difference here in the mid lane in game number 1, as Quid's Orianna is the X factor here for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, a little bit of a mid diff so far. I mean, he did blind that Annie and has kind of been relatively ineffective, I would say, on the pick. Has been moving around, trying to find some plays, but hasn't really been able to get much, and especially in the team fights, has yet to be able to find that big engage that you're really hoping for when you are playing that Annie. It is definitely difficult when you're trying to walk up and potential to just get CC'd and burst down. And in that previous play before the earlier Otacon start, the fact that he got TP'd in and caught, like both of those fights were kind of decided a little bit by 100 Thieves finding the ward that they're TPing to and stopping them. Because on the previous play, Dhokla's just sitting there waiting with the counter-strike. When Palafox arrives, he immediately has to flash away. Then on this play, Fudge TP's in, and he is immediately killed off as he arrives. So Shopify not with the best TP locations.
And I love the fact that 100 Thieves is immediately making those calls, because I feel like a lot of the times when we see one of our teams that's struggling, that's been losing a lot of games in a row, a big reason for it is indecisiveness. The inability to decide what you want to go for between objectives and fights, or how you want to play as a team. 100 Thieves just saying, start the objective as a means to get to the fight. Once the fight presents itself, that's what we're playing for, and they jump on it. And I love seeing that kind of aggression and team play.
And River and Quid having a great game, and this is really what 100 Thieves does need. These guys are their stars. You need them to be showing up and having these incredible performances. And it's going to be Shopify just starting the Baron here.
Okay.
Feels like it's a little bit of desperation time as they're just going to be flipping it.
It's a YOLO from Shopify Rebellion. Everybody on 100 Thieves ready to show up, though. Palafox waiting in the wings, seeing if there's a flank opportunity here. Fudge skip and slash over the wall, ready to try to set up some sort of a flank maneuver of his own. River ready to go in now as Palafox tries to get the engage, but 100 Thieves is ready to reply. Bvoy's about to die here at the very start of the fight. 100 Thieves staying alive so far. River putting the pressure onto Palafox at the same exact time as Fudge can't get anybody. Contractz about to lose his ulti, about to lose his life, about to lose the game. 100 Thieves run him over.
Nicely done there by 100 Thieves. Dhokla had a good flank. And though the engage this time with Seos and Palafox looked promising, they still could not burst down anyone. And when you don't get those initial kills, there was just no way they were going to win the extended fight. And now you're losing the tier 2 mid. Now you're even going to lose probably the tier 2 bot. You're losing the Baron. They're pushing everywhere while taking the Baron. And 100 Thieves are just miles ahead at this point.
I feel like that's the end of it. Unless 100 Thieves make an absolutely unforgivable error, this game is too far out of reach now for Shopify. They send the Hail Mary Baron. They decide they want to try to turn it. They have the setup with Palafox ready to try to engage here, but it still doesn't work.
Yeah, I think the engagement was actually pretty good on to Quid there. Flash in from Palafox, gets a W stun. Zeus is there to follow. But the problem is the damage doesn't land, quickly enough afterwards. Fudge comes in, Contractz comes in, but Quid just flashes out, kites this out, and Bvoy being the first to fall, the only one with a significant gold lead, pretty much cooked it. As soon as you lose your Corki, there's not much of a way you're going to be able to fight through this.
Yeah, we're now looking at a game state where it's not, okay, River and Quid are ahead, and then it's Fudge and Bvoy are ahead. It's Fudge and Bvoy now have forgivable deficits, whereas River and Quid are a combined...
Unforgivable.
Yeah, this is not forgivable in the mid-jungle. Not in game one anymore. It is almost 6,000 gold between the leads for the mid and jungle of 100 Thieves. 5-1 and 9 for River's Wukong. 7-2 and 9 for Quid's Orianna. These two just doing absolutely incredible work. Quid has not participated in a single kill. He's been a part of everything.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah.
He's been moving around, finding these plays. And it is soul time, so I wouldn't blame Contractz for just trying to flip it, go in, see if he can get it. They're going to look for Dhokla.
Yeah, Contractz jumps in after the Jax, and that's not where you want to be. He's already down, and the Dragon is claimed. The soul belongs to 100 Thieves, and the game is about to go the same way. Fudge in stasis for only a moment longer. FBI is on a killing spree. There's nothing left of Shopify, man. 100 Thieves. Just throw them all in the wheelbarrow and haul them back to Fountain.
Yeah, Contractz told me he's going to show Unk what is up, but it's Dhokla getting the last laugh in this one.
And there it is, the Keck W Braum at the same time. 100 Thieves know they just won the game. They'll force the wave through down here in the bot side. Tier 2 turret is already gone. Quid putting in work back over in the mid lane, but he knows they don't need 2 lanes to win this one. Contractz is going to be back alive here in about 5 seconds, but I'm thinking his screen's only going to be in full Technicolor for a few seconds if he leaves that Fountain. 100 Thieves closing in on the Nexus turrets. Contractz wants to go in, and there it is. Blink and you'll miss it. He's down again. Another ace here for 100 Thieves, as the last Nexus turret is the only thing standing between them and a game 1 victory. Shopify Rebellion respawning, trying to scramble, get in there in time, but it ain't gonna matter. 100 Thieves, FBI is on a rampage. Palafox taken down one more time for good measure. 100 Thieves takes game 1.
Yeah, you can tell Dhokla was loving it at the end there, man. He's flexing on him, he's just spam taunting. That was a lot of fun. Lounge, what did you think about Dhokla's return?
She's back.